joining us now, founder and CEO of EduFIT, a clinical physiologist, a health researcher, and of course a former presenter of Health and Fitness on Midlands 103. Dr. Diane Cooper joins us on the programme this evening. Diane, thanks very much for joining us.
David, thanks so much for having me.
Not at all. Let's talk about what we're going to talk about this evening, and that's your MenoWell course is going to be available and very accessible to women in Laois, I suppose the Midlands generally, very soon. Tell us about MenoWell, the idea behind it, and what's going to be available for people in Laois.
Yeah, so we're really excited about this, and I'll just say an absolutely huge thank you to Laois Sports Partnership and Healthy Ireland for funding this, which actually makes it free for people to sign up to. But basically, the short story is I've been working with people for 20 years in this health space. And during all of that time, women have constantly been saying to me, Diane, I don't know where to go for help with the menopause. All of these things are happening to me. I don't know if it is the menopause or something else. And I would often hear things like, I feel like I'm going crazy and I don't know what to do. This is a really serious thing. And of course, you know, if I move forward in the last 3 years, we're hearing a lot about menopause, which is fantastic. There's a lot more awareness about it, but there are still, even though from the lifestyle medicine perspective, there is so much that we can do to help women in all stages of menopause. But there are few programs. So basically what we did last year was we piloted a program with Laois Sports Partnership in October of last year. Within a couple of days, 220 women had signed up. We've since run a number of programs. A few thousand people have gone through MenoWell at this stage. But basically, it's a 6-week program. It is a combination of very specific health workshops, so one a week for 6 weeks, and then very specific exercise training classes that happen in the evenings online in women's homes. And we've taken all of the latest evidence, we've made it really simple and practical, and it really tackles some of the key issues that women have a lot of problems with in the menopause that can really seriously impact their health.
The concept you've given me there of people coming to you and saying that they actually feel like they're losing their mind going through some of these symptoms, even to start a course like this, just to give yourself a sense of agency and control over it, even though there's probably plenty to do along the way, just starting getting something done about it. I imagine, do you find women notice they feel better about it as soon as they really are facing it?
Oh, absolutely. So even last night, I was presenting with a group in Donegal, 440 people, I think, on this program. And the comments coming in at the end of the session were, Diane, I feel like there is actually a light at the end of the tunnel. I feel like there are a lot of simple and practical and positive things that I have control over myself that can make a massive impact. And that is the truth. But of course, you know, you need to understand it and be aware of it. And that's what the course is. So yeah, in the last year, I've gone from many, many years of women really, really badly struggling with this and not having support and guidance to, in the last year, working with so many women who are so grateful and thankful for this course. It's making a massive difference. And you know, even if we take, we actually did a research study on this program in May. We took the program and we tested it pre and post. We tested lovely women in Laois. We tested their strength, their fitness, their balance, their flexibility. Of course, all of those things improved with this only 6 weeks. They literally came to 2 sessions a week for 6 weeks, wow, completely transforming everything. What they'll say to me in response to that is, the aches and pains are down, my mental health is up, my perceptions of my physical health are up. And then importantly, we would have assessed, menopause has so many serious and life-altering symptoms for a lot of people. So we would have done a menopause self-assessment symptoms questionnaire with that research group. And really, really importantly, all of basically when we tested before and after, their perceptions of their symptoms and the number and severity of the ones they were having are down, they're decreased. Now, this is 6 weeks. This is a very small amount of time in a woman's life to actually devote a bit of time to herself that has a massive impact.
It's just wild to think that something like that can achieve the results it does, and it's only happening in recent times rather than, obviously, these issues should have been, women's health should have been served better historically, that we we didn't get to this place. But we are here now, and the MenoWell course is going to play an important part for those who engage with it in improving their physical and mental health through menopause. Talk to us about some of the physical things that happen or physical exercises that women might be doing through this course, because by the sounds of it, if you can improve and increase the strength, it has a knock-on effect through the body and the mind.
Sure. So I'll start just really quickly with the problem that women have, and then how it's fixed with the exercise. So if I just mention a few, so for example, once women reach menopause and we lose estrogen, we have up to a 5-year rapid bone and muscle loss period. Okay, so people might not be aware of that. It's the reason why 1 in 2 women get osteoporosis, and we have all sorts of problems. But you can counteract that to a huge extent by doing some strength training. So therefore, in the 2 exercise classes per week for 6 weeks, we build in whole body strength training. We start off with really simple stuff. And for every exercise that we do, we give 3 versions. So beginner, intermediate, advanced. And it would take into consideration things that women would have, conditions they would have, osteoporosis, prolapse, all sorts of stuff. So, the point would be to understand that this is completely specific to this cohort of wonderful women, and not to be put off by any clinical conditions or injuries or issues or whatever that you have. And then another big thing, it was Menopause Awareness Month this month of October, and the global topic that was the theme for the month was heart health, because up until menopause, we are really protected by estrogen. So our blood pressure is good, cholesterols are good, heart, everything is good. Once we hit menopause, that completely changes. And now we are very, very high risk of, blood pressure issues, cardiovascular diseases, and it's the largest killer of postmenopausal women globally. So therefore, in the exercise classes, we do cardiovascular exercises to basically counteract, you can't say completely counteract. It helps. It helps the problem, particularly if you haven't been training. But the benefits that you get would be that it would reduce blood pressure issues. It can certainly help with cholesterol problems, and it's a really protective thing for your cardiovascular health, is to get yourself fit. So in a nutshell, we take a lot of the big problems that are known not just once we hit menopause, but even in perimenopause, which could be 8 years, up to 8 years before that, when the hormones changes start. So like basically from the age of 40 on. So we put all of that into the specialist exercise classes. And then of course we teach women why and how to and all of that stuff in the education workshops that support the exercise classes.
The education workshops, as you've put it there, that knowledge can be ultimately imparted down through generations beyond, say, the classes that are taking place. This is the kind of knowledge that if you can build it up in the demographic of women going through menopause or approaching it, then that knowledge stays there and it stays within the family. It must be it has to be invaluable.
So I don't use this word lightly, but this is literally life-changing stuff. And, for us, what does it mean in a time contribution? It means that you come to 6 30-minute workshops where we teach you this information, and you do a little bit of exercise. But like, if I could just show you the difference from the last 20 years I've been in work, of the people who do a little bit of movement and have this knowledge and use it practically in daily life to help themselves, or the people who unfortunately don't know this stuff and aren't doing, eating the right foods or doing specific movements. When you track both of these types of people over time, by the time you get into your 60s and 70s, you're looking at 2 completely different people in terms of their health status, their mental health, their functionality for everyday life, their well-being, everything. It's completely different. And the point is, like, obviously I'm a scientist, so I could, and I love, live and breathe what I do, and we could talk about this all day, but that's not the point of this. The point of this is for me to be really clear and concise and practical, and the same for our nutritionist and all of our other specialists that work on this, so that women can come, have a cup of tea, sit down for half an hour, listen to a topic, and you'll go home with a very, very practical toolkit that will fit into your day, that can give you massive health benefits. And that's effectively what we specialize in. And that's the purpose of the course. So invaluable, and absolutely spread the word, share it with every single woman in your life. But the other side of it is, like, thinking about men, David, like, how are men supposed to support something that they don't understand?
Sure.
So and even women themselves will say to me after their first workshop, they will say to me, Diane, I had no clue that these things happen in menopause. I had no idea. So how are you supposed to support yourself or ask your loved ones to help you when you're struggling, when you don't even know what you're supporting? And that would be the big thing with this program. It's awareness and education.
Yeah, and that knowledge, as you say, then empowers women to be able to maybe shape their own environment to help them out that little bit more into the future. Diane, it's been great talking to you about this. You must tell us then if listeners at home think that they are in the right time and place to engage with their menopause journey, how do they get involved with MenoWell?
Absolutely. So it's an online program. So you can either look at the EduFIT social media channels for the link, or you can look up the Laois Sports Partnership social media channels, or contact us. So contact either of our websites. We're the two organisers or bodies for this. So either way, it's absolutely fine. And just to remind everyone, it's completely free. It's funded. And the other big thing is it is a live program, but we actually record everything so that it's available on demand to suit your schedule too, which is really important.
Okay, yeah, it sounds like it's really well tailored in that respect, and great for the women of the Midlands who are listening that they can avail of this free course. Dr. Diane Cooper, much appreciate as ever you appearing on Health and Fitness with us this evening.
Thanks so much, David. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
The MenoWell course starts on the 8th of November at 7 o'clock in the evening for the first workshop. People can sign up right until then.